Well, hello. It's nice to meet you again, Mr. and Mrs. Campbell. I'm thrilled to have you into the office today and welcome this opportunity to discuss your financial future, especially since you've taken time out of your busy schedule and to celebrate the new year today. And it's your birthday today as well, so congratulations and congrats on your recent wedding. I know you've only been married for a couple months now, but I'm happy that you're addressing your future retirement at this stage of the game. Now, as we talked about during our introductory meeting, one of my goals is to develop a strategic plan customized for you. And the sooner we get going, the sooner we have a stronger possibility of success. Now, my services will specifically include reviewing and prioritizing your goals and objectives, developing a summary of your current financial situation, an insurance analysis, reviewing your current investment portfolio and developing an asset strategy, an asset management strategy for you, completing a retirement planning assessment, identifying tax planning strategies to optimize your financial position, and finally, assisting you with the implementation of this plan. So with that said, there are a couple points in the estate planning phase that I want to draw particular attention to. Both have to do with your distribution of your assets prior and to your passing as well as afterwards. And I know that this can be a difficult topic for some and when they talk about death, but I think it's also very important to address at this point and this stage of the game. So the first thing that I want to talk about is your life insurance policy, John. The one you currently own is a term policy, and so I'd like to know when that term actually began. Chances are that you will outlive this policy, but while it is in force, I'd like you to consider updating your beneficiaries. And would you like to keep the beneficiaries that are currently on the policy? Those are your sons. Or would you like to change it to your wife, Linda? I don't need an answer right this very moment, but you might want to consider changing this to your new bride. Now, if this is something that you want to do, it might go a long way in helping pay for current expenses that she may incur, but also if there's anything left to pay off on the houses. Now, I'm talking about both your primary and your vacation home at this point, and I know you're thinking about selling them here in the near future, but if something like this would happen to you, then I'm wanting to make sure that Linda is covered if something tragic happened to you in the near future. So I don't want you to stop paying the premiums. I kind of like the policy. It's just that I want you to consider changing the beneficiary to Linda. Part 2 of this topic includes a recommendation to create a new permanent form of life insurance. Now, if you truly want to leave a legacy to your sons, the Irrevocable Life Insurance Trust, or ILIT for short, it's an acronym, should be considered. Funding would be tax deductible and be considered a gift to Lewis and to Jeffrey. Now, it would also enable John to control the disposition of life insurance proceeds, which would avoid probate. Now, you can make annual gifts to pay for the premiums if the crummy provision is used. You'll need to see a lawyer to get this done. Now, the next item I'd like to address is your desire to distribute John's money if he passes away first. Now, looking after Linda's income needs, but you also want to look after that principal and maybe give that to Lewis and Jeffrey later on down the road. I totally get it. You each had separate lives before you got married, and you don't want any family squabbles after you've passed away, so it's important to outline your wishes prior to any incapacity. Now, what I'm trying to describe is something called a qualified terminable interest property, or QTIP for short. It's a trust, and it allows the interest and both potential growth of this to be left to the surviving spouse, and for the property still to qualify for that marital deduction in the decedent's estate. The principal, upon Linda's passing, then goes to the boys. Now, in addition, to qualify this property for that marital deduction, an election has to be made in the form of IRS Form 706. Now, Linda would probably not be named as the executor or the general power of appointment over this trust, so the decedent can ultimately control the disposition of this property. Now, it's also helpful in a second marriage like yours, where the spouse has children from their first marriage, but is concerned that the surviving spouse needs to maintain their lifestyle. It prevents also a future spouse or a child from tapping into these funds. And so, like the crummy letter, I would encourage you to go to an estate planning attorney and have he or she compose a new trust where this Q-tip can be established. This would accomplish both of your goals, to guarantee a future income for Linda, but also provide for Lewis and Jeffrey. Now, again, finally, to implement this plan, it would be critical to retitle all the registrations of the property intended to fund the Q-tip trust. And the sooner we get going on that, the better. So with that said, thanks for coming in on such a busy day. I appreciate it greatly and look forward to working with you and helping you reach your financial goals.